3 spine-chilling music festival tales exposing sinister secrets and haunted experiences. Lights twinkled like stars against the night sky. Lisa forced a smile as she held her daughter's hand in the bustling crowd of the annual music festival. The air was thick with laughter, the scent of kettle corn mingling with something else, a hint of dread lingering beneath the jubilation. After losing her husband, she hoped this festival could help her create new memories with Charlie. But as the music swelled, so too did the whispers of unease that crawled up her spine. "Mom, look!" Charlie exclaimed, pointing at a booth overflowing with colorful trinkets. But even as she watched her daughter twirl in delight, a subtle terror gnawed at Lisa. Just last week, she'd heard the whispers. Children from their small town had gone missing, a string of faces vanishing without a trace, the names lost in the growing anxiety that gripped the community. "We should stay close, Charlie," Lisa said, her voice shaking slightly. She scanned the crowd, forcing back the unease that curled in her stomach. Familiar faces, yet somehow unfamiliar. They were supposed to be safe, weren't they? But safety felt like a broken promise, buried beneath the festive sounds that had turned increasingly sinister. Suddenly, she spotted Paul, her estranged neighbor, lurking near the edge of the festivity. His gaze was locked on Charlie, and it sent a jolt of fear rippling through her. There was something unsettling in the way he watched them, and Lisa's pulse quickened. She tightened her hold on Charlie's hand. As they ventured deeper into the festival, a chill crept in, contrasting with the warmth of the crowd. The laughter around them began to warp, distorting into echoing shrieks that blended into the upbeat rhythms of the music. Was it her imagination, or was there something sinister lurking just beyond their scope of vision? Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Lisa's heart raced as they stumbled upon a cluster of rundown tents hidden behind the main festivities. The dirt beneath her feet felt wrong, unsettlingly warm. It was here she found a tarnished locket, nearly buried in the mud. As she turned it over, dread coiled in her belly. It belonged to one of the missing children. Panic took root, gripping her chest. She needed to get Charlie out now. The vibrant colors of the festival turned muted, the lights flickering ominously as if they knew something. A gust of wind whistled ominously, chilling her bones. Just as she turned to make her way back, Paul blocked her path, a wide smile stretching too far across his face. "Going somewhere?" His voice dripped with malice, each word a knife plunged deeper into Lisa's heart. Behind him, shadows flickered like specters, and the bright sounds of the festival faded into an echo of despair. "Charlie, hold on tight," Lisa whispered, her heart pounding in her chest. The night had transformed, revealing a tableau of horror, and she frantically sought the exit among the crowd now swirling with darkness. It was no longer a festival, it was the setting for an unimaginable nightmare, and escape was slipping from her grasp like sand through fingers. Lisa's adrenaline surged as she pushed against Paul, her eyes darting for an opening. The crowd had morphed into a thick, suffocating wall of strangers, jostling and laughing, a facade hiding something deeply wrong. "Charlie, we need to move," she urged. Her daughter's eyes were wide, innocent terror etched on her face. "Mom, I'm scared." "Stick close." Lisa wrapped her arm around Charlie, but even as she clutched her daughter tightly, a wild fear clawed at her insides. Paul didn't budge, his smile morphing into something monstrous. "Why not take a look at what's behind the tent?" he suggested, his voice lilting with mockery. "There are very special surprises waiting." "No!" Lisa shouted, shoving past him with Charlie in tow. They slipped into the thrumming chaos of the crowd, each laugh more hollow than the last. The music pounded relentlessly, yet all she could hear was the thundering of her own heart. The vulnerability of their situation felt like a blade held to her throat. The path twisted into darker areas where flickering lights struggled to pierce the blackness. Lisa pressed forward, each step nearing desperation. From shadows, whispering voices teased her ears, clawing at her mind. Honeyed tones twisted into shrieking laughter that made her skin crawl. It felt like the very essence of the festival drained away, leaving behind a husk, a mere stage for the unthinkable. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her shoulder. Lisa whipped around to find a woman, her face pale and gaunt, eyes sunken deep with dread. "They're watching," she spat, her voice trembling. "They want the children." "Who?" Lisa demanded, panic rising. "What do you mean?" "The shadows," the woman hissed. "They take them during the festival. Tread cautiously. Or you'll join them." Fear pulsed through Lisa. She ripped her gaze from the woman, who stood frozen in place, eerily still, as if caught between dimensions. "We have to go, Charlie," she urged, desperately tugging her daughter away. They hurried toward the main stage, lights casting eerie shadows all around. As they approached, a deafening roar erupted from the crowd. Lisa found the stage draped in crimson fabric, the performers adorned in grotesque masks. They moved as if in a trance, singing a dissonant melody that crawled beneath her skin. "Mom, I don't like it here," Charlie whimpered, pressing closer. "Me neither, honey." Forcing her way through a throng of entranced festival-goers, Lisa felt the grip of dread coalesce into a fist around her heart. Somewhere on the periphery, the festival atmosphere had shifted, crawling toward pure malevolence. The laughter faded, replaced by something more sinister in the air. Suddenly, Paul reappeared, blocking their path again. "You can't leave," he said, the fake smile wiped clean off his face, revealing a twisted, predatory snarl. "The show is just starting." At that moment, Lisa caught sight of movement behind him, shadows slipping between the crowd, flickering like flames. Panic erupted within her. Where was the exit? Where were the familiar faces that once made her feel safe? "Get away from us." Instinct took over. She pushed Charlie behind her, preparing for a fight. "No, no." Paul advanced, eyes gleaming. "You're too late, it's feeding time." The word sent a shockwave of terror through her. In that moment, everything felt surreal. The vibrant festival had transformed into a nightmare, a celebration of darkness seeking its prey. Desperation took hold. "Charlie, run!" she screamed, shoving her daughter in the opposite direction just as the shadows converged. "Mom!" Charlie's voice pierced through the madness, but Lisa was consumed by terror as she spun and dashed, the sounds of the festival drowning in chaos. But who would they sacrifice next? As Lisa vanished into the swirling mass of bodies, the laughter faded into a haunting silence, the flickering lights a distant memory. The festival had only just begun. Lisa's heart raced as she wove through the crowd, each pulse pounding against her eardrums like the relentless bass of the music. Panic-stricken faces blurred past her, and she fought the rising tide of pressing bodies. Charlie's hand was a lifeline, small and trembling in her grasp. "Keep up!" she shouted, urging them both forward. They plunged deeper into the festival's depths, away from the stage and its unnatural revelers. The laughter felt like a distant echo, warped and mocking, taunting them as they fled. Darkness clung to the edges of her vision, creeping ever closer, as if it were alive and hungry. Suddenly, Charlie cried out. "Mom, look!" She pointed toward a cluster of people who had fallen to their knees. The figures crouched beneath the scattered glow of a few remaining lanterns, their hands gripping their heads as if trying to hold on to sanity. "What are they doing?" "I don't know, Charlie." "Just don't look." Lisa propelled them onward. But as they passed, Lisa's gaze lingered for just a moment too long, and she caught a glimpse of the terrified faces contorted in despair. Each mouth opened as if to scream but emitted only breathless gasps. The sight sent a shudder down her spine. "We have to find a way out," she urged, pulling Charlie along. Yet it felt like every turn led them back into that dark heart of the festival, every face she turned to bore fresh terror. "Mom, I can't." Charlie's voice turned small, breaking. Panic flared brighter than ever. "Just a little further please." Then, ahead of them, a flicker caught her eye. Lisa stepped cautiously toward the semi-darkness where a fading light struggled to emerge, a booth with a sign hanging crookedly overhead, "Lost and Found." The words felt loaded with irony. They pushed through a smaller crowd shuddering at the edge of reality, taste of dread now metallic in the air. "What if we ask for help?" Charlie suggested, her voice a hesitant whisper, clinging to a sliver of hope. "No," Lisa hissed, dragging her back. "There's something off about this place." Behind the booth, a heavy curtain billowed ominously. Shadows moved like ink bleeding across paper, creeping up the sides and reaching for her, but then, a realization struck. Those children, those lost souls. What if they were trapped in there? "Mom." Charlie tugged at her shirt. "Can we go? I don't want to stay here." I know, but Lisa hesitated. Something about the booth called to her, magnetic and nightmarish. She took a step back, ready to pivot away when movement behind the curtain hesitated. A figure loomed, indistinguishable beyond the fabric but brimming with a life both sinister and alluring. "Lisa," a voice pierced through the noise, crystalline and sweet yet tinged with malice. It slithered into her ears, beckoning, "Come closer. Join us." Paul's face flashed in her mind, twisted in a mocking grin. The laughter surged again, climbing to a fever pitch. "Charlie, we need to run." But the ground trembled beneath them. Shivers traced the edges of her spine as she yanked her daughter closer. The whispers grew louder, each syllable drawing her deeper into the snare of twisted promises. The walls of the festival seemed to close in, stifling, threatening to crush them. "Mom. I can't breathe." Charlie gasped, eyes wide as she looked toward the booth. Lisa turned to her daughter, panic mixing with sheer determination. "We're not staying here." With one final glance at the beckoning shadows, she took off, pulling Charlie behind her. They barreled through the chaos, hearts pounding in a synchronized rhythm of fear, but the night wasn't done with them yet. As they charged past, a hand shot out from the darkness, grasping Lisa's wrist with an iron grip. She felt the cold terror seep into her bones. "Leave while you still can." The voice pleaded, desperate yet filled with imminent dread. "Mom." Charlie screamed, tugging away. Lisa met the terrified eyes of the trapped figure, desperation mixing with confusion. "What are you?" "Children, they're coming for children." But even as the warning passed the figure's lips, they felt eyes watching from everywhere. Eyes filled with hunger and malice. The crowd's laughter rose again, a sickening symphony that echoed through her mind. "Run!" Lisa shouted, pulling Charlie fiercely away. But now the shadows surged, drawing nearer, whispering promises of a darkness that craved their innocence. Up ahead, she saw the booth again, now swirling in deceitful brightness. With no exit in sight, she felt the scrape of panic clawing her throat. Would they be next? Could there still be a way to escape? Or were they already lost? Every shadow became a grip, every laugh a taunt, as she began sprinting for her life, feeling Charlie's fear paralyzing her. "Mom, help! They're coming!" The sound of hollow laughter echoed behind them, growing closer with every step she took. Yet even as terror gripped her heart, hope glimmered faintly in the distance, a vision of escape. But was it a mirage? Lisa didn't know only that they had to keep running. Had they already sealed their fate? The moment hung heavy as Lisa and Charlie pushed forward, desperate and fueled by fear. Each footstep felt like a countdown, a deadline they couldn't afford to ignore. The laughter echoed, a sickening reminder of what lurked behind them, always just out of sight, yet closing in fast. "Mom!" Charlie cried again, her voice muffled by panic. "What if we don't find a way out?" Lisa squeezed her daughter's hand tighter. "We will. We have to believe that. She forced every ounce of hope into her words, but deep down, doubts scratched at her mind. The air grew thick and suffocating. Shadows flitted across their peripheral vision, darting away as soon as they looked. It felt like a cruel game, one where they were the unwitting players. Another figure staggered in front of them, eyes wild and skin glistening with sweat. You can't escape. It moaned, voice trembling with despair. They want you. You can't fight it. Before Lisa could process the warning, the crowd swelled, thrumming with a sinister energy. Faces twisted in anticipation, their eyes glassy and devoid of humanity. They leaned forward as if waiting for a show to begin. An unsettling unity coursed through them, a shared hunger that sent a fresh wave of terror through Lisa. Mom, please. Charlie's voice broke. They were caught in a whirlpool of chaos, a cyclone weaving tighter around them. Just keep moving. Lisa commanded, pulling her daughter along. The frantic thud of her heart echoed in her ears as they pressed deeper into the throng. Ahead, she spotted an exit, a flicker of light breaking through the sea of darkness. Over there. She pointed, adrenaline surging. But fate didn't care for their plans. The space around them warped, shifting, as if the ground itself reshaped in response to their desperation. The path to freedom twisted beneath their feet, the light flickering as if taunting them. The exit began to fade. No, no. Lisa screamed, the chilling laughter rising again, reverberating through each cell in her body. Someone lunged from the shadows, a grimy face drawn and ghost-like, reaching for Charlie. Join the lost. It rasped, nails like claws brushing against the air. Get back. Lisa yelled, shoving her daughter behind her. The specter recoiled yet lingered, eyes gleaming with whatever hope it had clung to in that cursed place. That single gesture revealed something ghastly. The figure was once a child, a lost child, trapped in this grotesque mirage. Mom, they're everywhere. Charlie whimpered, scrambling back as panic set in. In that instant, Lisa's heart sank. She couldn't let that happen, couldn't let her daughter be one of them. She jerked Charlie to her chest, resolute. We're leaving now. With a primal scream, she pushed through the masses. They surged forward like a tidal wave, the grotesque faces parting with fear of what they could not possess. But the shadows chased them relentlessly, growing stronger. The whispers intensified, burrowing into her mind, promising them peace if they surrendered. For an instant, an echo of her own laughter intertwined with the nightmarish sound. It was a mocking reminder of a simpler time. Forget it. Lisa screamed, shaking her head violently. Forget everything. Walls of darkness closed in around them, and as they broke free, the light flickered one last time before pouring over them. But they found themselves standing before the booth once again, the curtain billowing, the sign overhead swirling in blinding brightness. This is where it ends, the sinister voice hissed from behind the fabric, extending an invitation they couldn't escape. No, we can't. Charlie trembled in her arms, pleading with wide, desperate eyes. The laughter erupted again, drowning her reason. A moment of horror-stricken clarity fell upon her. Charlie, we need to, but the words fell silent. The curtain swished, and shadows stepped into view. Join us, Lisa froze. All around, the figures waited with outstretched hands, smiles frozen in grotesque joy. And then, she recognized the grim faces among them, ghostly reflections of children who had once danced beneath the stars, now forever trapped, forever hungry. The chilling truth settled in her gut. What have we walked into? As they stepped back, trying to escape the suffocating pull of the booth, the crowd surged forward. Laughter turned to screams, cries blending into chaos, a desperate symphony of despair. Mom, run! Charlie shouted, yanking her toward the exit that shimmered ever more enticingly now, just inches outside their reach. But the booth swelled like a beast awakening from slumber, pulling them into its gaping maw. And behind them, the unyielding voices echoed, you can't escape your fate. As darkness swallowed the light, Lisa clawed for a way out. But what if the exit was just another trap? Could what waited beyond the booth be worse than what pursued? With every ounce of strength, she pushed Charlie onward. But the night was far from over. Where would they turn next? And were they running into darkness, or could they finally escape? The booth's shadowy confines closed around them like a vice, and Lisa felt the weight of despair push down on her chest. The air was thick, heavy with desperation and the cloying scent of decay. Panic twisted her gut. She could almost sense the darkness visually shifting, a living entity eager to swallow them whole. "Mom!" Charlie's voice rose in pitch, shrill with fear. "If we go in, will we ever come out?" "No. We're not going in," Lisa shouted, her voice cracking, yet determined. "We have to find another way." Around them, the crowd shifted restlessly. The faces of the lost watched with hungry eyes, mouths twisting into ugly grins. They were waiting, anticipating the moment when despair sank its claws into Lisa's resolve. She had to fight it. With her heart pounding in her ears, Lisa backed away from the encroaching figures, dragging Charlie along. The thrumming anticipation of the grotesque crowd surged forward, an ominous wave threatening to crash upon them. In the cacophony of laughter and cries for help, an idea flickered in her mind like a dying ember. "Charlie, listen carefully," she said, gripping her daughter's shoulders. "We need to find something, anything that will help us break this. We can't let them control us." Nodding, Charlie blinked back tears. "What do we look for?" "Anything that feels real, something that reminds us of home." Lisa's voice was firm. "We're going to make a stand." Suddenly, a sharp gust swept through the throng, extinguishing the laughter once more. The figures shifted as if reacting to an invisible force. Lisa squinted against the darkness, yearning to see what lay beyond their haunting reach. "Mom, I'm scared," Charlie whimpered, glancing nervously toward the restless figures that seemed to grow bolder in the gloom. Before Lisa could respond, a flash of movement caught her eye. A glimmering object lay half buried among the dirt and refuse at the booth's edge, a childhood toy. It shone like a beacon, illuminating a path through the suffocating shadows. "Wait!" Lisa whispered, and in a heartbeat, she lunged forward, urging Charlie to follow. They darted toward the toy, hope blooming for the first time in what felt like forever. Just then, the sinister laughter erupted anew, louder than ever. It echoed in their minds, a dark symphony of mockery. "You think you can escape?" The laughter morphed into shrieks as the shadows lunged toward them, desperate to drag them back. "Grab it!" Lisa screamed as she reached the toy, a wooden dinosaur bright against the drab surroundings. With trembling hands, she snatched it up, feeling warmth radiate from it, a stark contrast to the cold despair enveloping them. She held it close, a thrilling rush cascading through her. "Do you feel that?" she shouted back at Charlie, who was still hesitant. "This is ours. They can't take this from us." But the moment of hope faltered as fragmented visions struck, memories of laughter shared on summer days, whispers of bedtime stories, and the smell of fresh-baked cookies filled the air, disorienting Lisa for a moment. "Mom!" Charlie cried, ripping Lisa from the memories. "Change is coming." The figures surged forward as if pushed by an unseen tide. The shadows clawed at the air, screaming their torment. "What is that?" Charlie gasped, wide-eyed, as the ground began to rumble. The toy glowed a fierce blue, casting shafts of light that pierced through the gloom. The shadows shrank back, momentarily stunned, their grotesque features twisting in horror. "Let us go." Lisa yanked Charlie's hand, urging her forward. "We can break free. Stay close." Together, they raced through the chaos, feeling a new electric energy push them onward. But the figures rallied behind them, a raw hunger palpable in the air. "Run!" They burst through the thickening shadows, the light guiding their way but dimming as the figures began to reform, driven by the desire to reclaim their lost prey. Just as they were about to reach what felt like freedom, a familiar face emerged among the throng, a twisted smile etched across skin once warm and inviting. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. "Mommy, don't leave me," the figure whispered, its voice hauntingly tender yet dripping with malice. Lisa stumbled, fear choking her as memories threatened to consume her. No, not now. Something shifted within her, a terrifying realization about the figure ahead. "Charlie, keep going." But as the light flickered and the shadows converged, would they uncover true salvation, or was this the beginning of their darkest nightmare? As darkness closed in, Lisa began to wonder if she would have to battle more than just the shadows. Would she have to fight her own heart? Lisa's heart pounded furiously, each beat echoing the urgency of her thoughts. The figure ahead swayed, its outstretched arms beckoning like a siren. "Mommy," it sang, the word dripping with a nostalgia that tethered her to memories long buried. Behind her, Charlie's grip tightened around her hand, a small anchor amidst the growing tempest. "Lisa!" Charlie shouted, voice trembling. "We can't stop. We can't let it pull us back." With fierce resolve, Lisa jerked her head, shaking off the tendrils of memory that threatened to ensnare her. "You're right. We need to keep moving." She turned, willing her legs to propel them forward, shoving against the tide of encroaching figures, but it was as if the shadows had doubled in number. "Mommy," the voice coaxed again, warm and inviting yet laced with malice. The shadows shifted, forming grotesque shapes, what felt like hands brushing against her flesh, curling around her legs, trying to drag her down. Lisa could almost feel their whispers curling around her ears like smoke. "Come back, join us, get away from me," she yelled, thrusting the glowing dinosaur forward. Bright blue light surged, illuminating the dark faces momentarily. The shadows recoiled, releasing their grip just enough for Lisa and Charlie to break free. They stumbled backward, heart racing, but relief was short-lived. Instinctively, Charlie glanced over her shoulder, eyes wide with dread. "Mom, it's getting darker. Keep running." Lisa shouted. They barreled past a wall of shadows, a rush of desperation fueling their escape. But as they pressed on, the crowd of figures became a swirling vortex, shadows reaching for them. Lost souls filled with regret and despair screeched and wailed, a cacophony of hopelessness. Each pleading cry was another jagged knife in Lisa's heart, tearing at her resolve. Suddenly, Charlie jerked to a halt. "Mom, look!" She pointed to a mirror at the edge of the shadows, reflecting images of happier times, Lisa laughing at a park, Charlie playing with friends, sunlight bathing them in warmth. "Charlie, don't!" Lisa's warning was a whisper, but it was too late. Charlie stepped closer, drawn in by the reflections flickering through the mirror like flames dancing in a darkened room. "Can't you see, Mom? It's all so beautiful." Charlie's eyes glimmered with wonder, but the moment was shattered by the creeping sensation that washed over Lisa, a cold dread. "Charlie!" Lisa lunged, clutching her daughter's arm just as the distorted shadows began to reach from the mirror, their forms swirling with desperate intensity, trying to pull Charlie in. "We have to go. Now!" Panic surged as she felt the shadows closing in, those grotesque faces contorting in triumph. Each ounce of strength within her waned as they tightened their grasp on her. "Mommy! Help me!" Charlie cried, but Lisa was momentarily paralyzed by the haunting vision of what could be a perfect life conjured from despair. "No!" With a primal roar, Lisa yanked the dinosaur from her pocket, raising it high. There was a flash, a surge of light that severed the shadows, creating a small pocket of freedom. "Step back," Lisa urged, forcing Charlie to move away from the mirror. But just as she thought they had a chance, a horrific realization struck. The facade of joy in the mirror began to crack. Dark figures withdrew momentarily, revealing layers of horror beneath. A drowned boy, skin slick and gray, pressed his face against the mirror. "Help me!" Heart racing, Lisa stumbled back. "Charlie, we have to break it." But just then, the shadows howled, coiling around them like a living beast hungering for prey. "You foolish woman! Give in! Give us the child!" "No!" Lisa yelled, and the mirror flickered with images turning dark. She could feel the pull of despair wrapping around her like chains. As Charlie sobbed, tugging at her mother's hand, Lisa clutched the wooden dinosaur with unyielding strength, feeling the warmth brimming within it. "We will not be afraid." Determination surged through her, igniting a fierce light against their encroaching doom. But the ground beneath them trembled, shifting as the chaos spiraled into frenzied madness. Just as victory loomed in the distance, inviting and tantalizing, a deafening crack reverberated, splitting the mirror wide open. And in that moment, Lisa felt a choice: the shadows would take something precious. As darkness surged, wrapping its icy fingers around them once again, a horrifying thought dawned on her. Would she have to sacrifice her own child to break free? And with that, the question hung heavy in the air. What price would she pay to escape? Would family ties be crushed under the weight of fear, or would they emerge together, broken but alive? Lisa felt the ground tremble beneath them, the chaos around them pulsing like a living creature devouring reality. Panic licked at her throat, threatening to choke her thoughts. The mirror loomed ominously, jagged and fractured, the remnants whispering promises of redemption twisted in deceit. "Mommy," the voice echoed, reverberating through her skull. It was the same song, yet now it held an urgency that twisted the air, crawling up her spine. Each note resonated with a dark familiarity, igniting a multitude of memories she thought safeguarded deep within. "Charlie, listen to me." Lisa squeezed her daughter's hand tighter, willing her to focus. "We can't get trapped in this. We have to push through." But as she turned her gaze back to the mirror, it beckoned like a tempestuous tide, showing images of their life: family dinners, birthday parties, even mundane days filled with laughter. Each flicker of light revealed ghosts, reminding her of their shared moments, tugging at her heart with remorseless ferocity. "Mom!" Charlie cried, eyes darting frantically. "It's coming!" A monstrous shadow surged from the mirror's crack, lunging forward with arms that flickered like dying embers. Lisa's breath hitched. Despair wrapped around them, weighty and suffocating. "Fight it, Charlie!" she shouted, gripping the dinosaur with all her might. The vibrant light surged once more, pushing back against the encroaching shadows, carving out a narrow path away from the haunted reflections. But the mirror's edges pulsed, black fog swirling around like hungry tendrils. "Join us," the haunting melody sang once more. It resonated through the air, merging with the cacophony of chaos, drowning out the hammering of her heart. "Mommy, I don't want to go back. I want them. I want to see." Charlie screamed, terror painting her innocent features. The innocent desire struck Lisa like a dagger. All around, those lost souls strained against the mirror, desperate for release, begging for a glimpse of warmth. She could see their faces twisted with anguish, eyes wide with despair, yet she couldn't let that draw her in. "Not now," with urgency ignited, she shouted back, "We're not going back, Charlie. We'll make new memories." Suddenly, the shadows lunged, a beast born of anguish. Cold fingers snagged at Lisa's clothes, urgently trying to pull her away, swirling around them in a maddening dance of despair. And then, almost instinctively, a memory flashed through Lisa's mind: a day at the lake, Charlie's laughter echoing against the water. "Hold on to that," she urged, focused on the brightness in her daughter's eyes. "Remember that day. Remember how happy we were." Charlie's eyes flickered, and for a moment, the shadows hesitated, their grasp loosening. "We're not afraid of you," Lisa screamed, the dinosaur bursting with light as it raining brighter than before. "Drown in the memories," she shouted, channeling every ounce of her strength through the little wooden toy. The beam expanded, surging towards the mirror, filling the air with a deafening roar. In an instant, time hung still, the cracks in the mirror began to shimmer, light battling darkness as chaotic energy crackled. Lisa pushed forward, pulling Charlie along with fierce determination. The air thickened, wrapping around them then, with a resounding boom, the mirror shattered, shards flying out like shooting stars, piercing the shadows that coiled around them. The figures screamed, their forms convulsing as the light engulfed them in a blaze of brilliance. But just before the last of them vanished, Lisa caught sight of a familiar face within the chaos, a face she never wanted to see again. It twisted with malevolence, reaching towards Charlie, a sudden jolt of recognition chilling her to the bone. "No!" she shouted, feeling a jarring echo of betrayal pierce through her heart. And just like that, in the frail moment of potential freedom, doubt seeped in. Could they truly escape? With the air swirling in a tempest of light and shadow, a chilling realization settled over her: the fight wasn't ended. They had broken through the mirror, yes. But the ghosts lingered, haunting their every step. They stumbled into a blinding white space, gasping for air, the chaos momentarily silenced. Yet, behind them, a resonant whisper echoed in the stillness, "You cannot run from me." Lisa clutched Charlie tightly, dread gnawing at her insides. The shadows had been banished at least, for now, but they both knew the darkness was still hunting. What would they face next? Would the past come clawing back with a vengeance? And as they stood in the blinding light, reality began to blur once more, fading before them with the knowledge that their real nightmare might just be beginning. The brightness swallowed them whole, but it didn't feel like safety. The light flickered, almost too bright to bear, stinging their eyes. Lisa's heart raced, time slipping through her fingers like water. "Where are we?" Charlie's voice trembled, cutting through the silence. Lisa scanned their surroundings. They stood in a vast, empty expanse, walls shimmering like a mirage, each shimmer a whisper laced with danger. "I don't know," she admitted, anxiety prickling under her skin. Shadows crept along the edges, wispy tendrils slithering just beyond the light. "Mommy, I can feel it," Charlie said, her small hands clutched Lisa's arm, squeezing tightly. "It's here, I can hear it." Panic threatened to pull them under again. The air shifted, thickening with tension. Somewhere in the shadows, laughter bubbled up, a distorted sound that made Lisa's stomach turn. It twisted into a smear of voices, overlapping, chanting, beckoning. She placed her hands on Charlie's shoulders, anchoring her in the moment. "Don't listen to them. Remember the lake to be strong." Charlie nodded, her breath quick but steadying. But the sounds amplified, growing, pressing in on them, demanding attention. With each pulse, a horror slowly unfurled in the distance, a shape taking form. Lisa's heart thundered as a spiraling figure emerged from the depths of the shadowy void. It had no face, just an ink-black mass, shifting and malleable. Appendages reached out, stretching for them, twisting in grotesque delight. "Come play with us forever." The voice, high and mocking, slithered around them, wrapping itself like a serpent. "Don't look at it, Charlie. Keep your eyes closed," Lisa shouted, pulling Charlie down, shielding her from the sight. Her mind raced, recalling all the stories that once seemed so distant, old warnings her mother had whispered about shadows and souls. The darkness laughed, triumphant that they had caved. A shiver careened down Lisa's spine as she realized they needed a path out. They had escaped one hell but stumbled into another. "We have to find a way out of here." As they turned, a door materialized before them, shimmering with an otherworldly light. Hope flickered within her, but doubt clawed at her edges. Could it lead to freedom or another trap? "Mommy, go. Please," Charlie urged, her voice rising, desperation coloring every word. The seductive whisper warped, now pleading. "Stay with us, we will keep you safe, Charlie, trust me." Lisa pulled her close and dashed for the door, the shadows writhing in angry protest. The darkness roared, suffocating air billowing, grasping at their heels. They burst through the door, spilling into a corridor filled with echoes of their past. Each step sent vibrations through the cracked floor, fissures creeping like a web along the edges. Keep moving. Don't stop. Lisa's voice was urgent, sharp, but in the distance, a figure materialized, unmistakably familiar, the face from the mirror. Hair unkempt, eyes wide and haunting, it grinned in a way that twisted Lisa's gut, fingers beckoning them forward. Join me, Lisa, let go. The whispers soared, the torment of memories bombarded her, lost laughter, shared moments twisted into nightmares. Lisa stumbled back, pressing against the wall, panic seizing her. The scream of betrayal bubbled up, but she fought it down. I'm not afraid of you. Then why don't you remember? You belong with me. Frantically, Lisa gripped Charlie's shoulders, shaking her. Focus, Charlie. Remember what we did. We're family. A crack surged through the corridor, threatening to swallow them whole. The darkness clawed at the edges, trying to pull them backward. Run! Lisa urged, tears mixing with fear. They dashed forward, the end of the corridor now pulsating, the figure behind them growing closer. The hallway trembled, walls closing in with the weight of the shadows. With only seconds left, Lisa gripped Charlie tighter and leaped toward the pulsing light at the end, and then all went still. They landed in a room splattered with memories, past moments encased in glass. Laughing faces froze in time, but out among them, a shadow flickered, watching them. The sickly sweet scent of nostalgia mixed with despair. Mommy? Charlie whispered, eyes darting. The air crackled, the familiar melody ringing out once more. You cannot escape. Lisa shivered, every hair on her body standing on end. We won't lose ourselves again, she vowed, her voice trembling yet fierce, but as they turned away, the shadows crept closer, hungry for company, longing for reunion. What did the darkness plan now? What would it demand of them this time? A haunting refrain echoed, dripping with urgency, pressing harder against them. The truth had yet to reveal itself, and Lisa could already feel the knot of fear tightening, squeezing, leaving her gasping for breath. What were they about to uncover? And would they have the strength to confront it? The silence shattered like glass, a sudden cacophony of whispers flooding the room. Each voice clawed at their ears, disembodied laughter echoing off the glass that encased their cherished memories. Lisa's heart raced, a wild drumbeat pounding against her chest. The shadows writhed, coiling closer, hungry eyes gleaming with malice. Charlie! Lisa cried, her voice barely a whisper now. She felt the ice grip her spine, paralyzing her. A vision flickered, a sun-soaked day by the shore, laughter, love, and safety, moments that seemed impossibly distant. But now, the shadow was pulling at the fabric of that happiness, ready to unravel it. Mommy, I don't like this. Charlie squeaked, squeezing Lisa's hand tighter. Fear radiated off the girl, sending ripples of cold dread through Lisa. She glanced at Charlie, relieved to see her daughter still standing beside her, but dread washed over her like a wave. Stay close, she urged, swallowing hard. The pull of the shadows was undeniable, a vortex of despair. We need to find a way out. With each passing heartbeat, the glass walls vibrated, crackling with an eerie energy. It was as if the memories contained within were alive, desperately trying to escape their prisons. Images twisted, faces contorting into agony, reaching out, pleading for help. Help us remember, find us, no. Lisa shouted, shaking her head to block the images. This wasn't right, this couldn't be happening. She gripped Charlie's hand and started moving, setting her sights on the flickering light at the far end of the room. Over there. We can get out. She sprinted, each step a fight against the crushing weight of despair. Charlie followed, her small feet pattering against the floor, terrified but resolute. Behind them, the whispers surged, an angry tide crashing against their resolve. You can't escape the past, Lisa. The voice twisted around her, a familiar echo, a ghost she once cherished. You belong to me. Lisa turned, her breath hitching as the figure from her memories surged, a ghostly silhouette bathed in shadow. It grinned wide, eyes glistening with tears and rage. We deserve to be together. No. I'm not yours. Lisa shouted back, her defiance throbbing in every word. The memories clawed at her sanity, a relentless pulse, a wretched reminder of choices made, mistakes buried deeper than she cared to admit. Charlie, don't look. She yelled, yanking her daughter close again. The room warped around them, memories exploding into vivid colors, crimson sunsets, golden laughter, and the sharp ache of loss descending like a thick fog. Then, suddenly, the floor trembled beneath them, fissures splitting the ground with a malicious light. What is happening? Charlie yelled, her eyes wide as she looked down. Hold on. Lisa screamed, bounding forward just as the floor cracked open. They leaped into the flickering light, the shadows' wails echoing in their wake. The brightness surrounded them again, bright and nauseating. But as they landed on solid ground, the air shifted, a cool breeze brushing against their sweat-soaked skin. They found themselves in a dimly lit room, filled with antique furniture covered in dust. Cobwebs hung from the corners, shrouding birchwood chairs and elaborate mirrors reflecting back distorted versions of themselves. "Mommy, where are we?" Charlie asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Lisa replied, dread settling in her stomach. She scanned the room, noticing something or someone lurking in the shadows. In the far corner, a figure stood still, its back to them. Every instinct within her screamed to flee. But the silhouette slowly turned, illuminating meatless features twisted in a chilling smirk, eyes that were voids of shadow. "Welcome back, Lisa," it said, the voice a soft caress laced with the promise of horrors they had not yet explored. "Run," Lisa urged, pulling Charlie behind her. But the walls seemed to close in, squeezing them with a cruel grip. "Stay with us forever," the voice dripped like honey, and the shadows stirred, undulating in anticipation, just waiting for their moment. "What do they want?" Charlie cried. Lisa felt the crushing weight of despair. How could she protect her daughter? "I don't know. But we can't stay here." As they darted towards what seemed like another exit, cracks erupted across the ceiling above. Dust rained down, the air thick with the scent of decay and memories tumbling free. Would they find a way out? Or would the horrors of the past drag them back into the shadows they fought so hard to escape? A loud bang echoed, and Lisa screamed, turning just in time to see the figure glide closer, its twisted smile widening. What would it demand from them next? The air thickened as the figure beckoned, shadows swirling like hungry beasts around it. Lisa felt every muscle tighten, adrenaline pumping through her veins. She glanced at Charlie, whose wide eyes mirrored the terror building within her. "Mommy, I'm scared," Charlie whimpered, gripping her hand tighter. "Stick close," Lisa urged, voice steadier than she felt. "We'll find a way out." And with that, she gathered her courage and charged forward, pulling her daughter away from the approaching specter. The walls closed in around them, a maze of darkness hungry for their light. Each echo of laughter felt like a taunt, every whisper twisting into a reminder of what they had endured. Shadows flickered at the corners of her vision, reaching out with spectral fingers. "Run!" Lisa shouted, urgency fueling her steps. As they sprinted, the room morphed again, shifting and warping like a living thing. The exit loomed before them, a crack of shimmering light breaking through the darkness. "There!" Lisa pointed, desperation driving her forward, but just as they approached, the figure lunged, its distorted face growing larger. "You can't leave me. We belong together," it cried with a voice that poured syrupy acid over her resolve. "Keep moving," Lisa shouted, her panic surging anew. Charlie tugged at her sleeve, fear evident in her wide, innocent eyes. "Stop. Come back." The figure's voice echoed, morphing, bending reality around them. Lisa felt a pang in her chest. It tried to grasp at their connection, tempting her to listen, to stay. But Lisa closed her eyes tightly, shaking her head. "Not again. We will not let the darkness win." With a burst of willpower, she faced her fears head-on. "We're not yours." The air crackled, pulling at the bits of her soul that the shadows swirled like a strainer. "You can't escape," echoed from all sides, voices rising and crashing, chaotic as waves against jagged rocks. "Charles," she started, but the shadows surged, arms reaching like a flood, hungry for their warmth, their laughter. Faster. They propelled themselves toward the light, the echoes of memories swirling louder, attempting to drag them back. "Mom," Charlie's voice quaked, almost lost amidst the cacophony. "What happens if we don't make it?" "Then we'll fight," Lisa responded, squeezing her daughter's hand tighter, anchoring her to reality. "We'll fight until our last breath." Finally breaking past the last grasping tendrils of darkness, they burst through the split in the air, tumbling into a blinding brightness. They landed hard on cool grass, disoriented but free. Lisa inhaled deeply, the scent of fresh air wrapping around them like a warm embrace. "We did it, baby. We're out." "But where are we?" Charlie asked, glancing around, bewildered. They stood outside the festival grounds, the normal bustle of music and laughter swaying gently in the background. A soft breeze pulled through, catching loose leaves and sending them dancing in the sunlight. Safety. It felt almost surreal. The festive cheer clashed against the nightmares they had just survived, a stark contrast Lisa couldn't shake off. "We're safe now," she whispered, kneeling to meet Charlie's wide, fear-laden gaze. "But we need to remember, always remember what happened." "Mommy, we won to go back, right?" "No," she assured, kissing the top of Charlie's head, feeling vulnerable yet resolute. "Never again." In the distance, the vibrant hues of the festival painted the sky, a reminder of innocent joy. Yet the shadow of what had happened lingered. A flicker of guilt swept through her. Who else had become trapped in that chaos? "Mom?" Charlie pointed. "Look." Paul stood at the periphery, watching from a distance, an uneasy smile on his lips, the embodiment of all their fears. Lisa's heart raced, but instead of crippling panic, a calm resolve washed over her. "Let us go." She took Charlie's hand, steering her toward the vulnerability of joy. As they blended into the laughter around them, Lisa found strength among strangers, embracing life anew while holding tight to the truth of their experience. They were survivors, and this time, they would carve their memories into the very fabric of light instead of darkness. This festival was their first step back, not into the void, but into a world where love, family, and light reigned. And together, they would create the joy that would drown out any hesitation for the future. This is the moment to take action. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Trust me, it makes a difference. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this chilling conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this finale. Your support means everything, and only true fans understand the power of unity. Let's keep this community growing.